Welcome to MetalVice in 666. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with the other host,
Karen.
Karen, what is this episode about?
What is a festival
Yeah, so
to us?
Yeah, so we're going to do another vocab episode, primarily because I don't know if you asked me to define what a festival was. I can tell you what it is, but looking at other festivals out there, I don't know. I don't know. I just want to talk to you about this and get your sense on what a festival, when you hear festival, what you think and what you hear. So let's go ahead and start the timer and we will dive right in. Okay, so if I were to say I'm going to a festival, what would pop in your mind in terms of like what kind of event I'm going to?
Okay, so if I heard that, I would think that it was more likely outdoors with multiple stages, multiple bands.
Okay.
Generally about the same genre of music. Generally.
Okay.
I don't know, food stands.
Okay.
That sort of thing. Does that paint a picture of what?
Yeah. It's weird. The first thing you said, outdoors. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I would think outdoors, but we've been to some like Milwaukee Metal Fest and Denver Beer and Metal Fest. Those are indoor festivals.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
you asked what would pop in my head
if
you said I'm going to a festival. So that's what I would picture.
That's what I picture too. But at the same time, I see those that aren't outdoors. Okay. Yep. Those are still festivals. So outdoors, they don't have to be outdoors, indoors.
Yeah.
Multiple stages. You brought that up. Milwaukee Metal Fest definitely has multiple stages. Beer and Metal Fest doesn't have multiple stages.
Yep.
One thing that pops up for me though is they do have multiple days.
Okay.
They are definitely over multiple days typically.
But I don't think all festivals are multiple days.
They're not.
Yeah.
I think of Knotfest, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a single day festival. And there's two types of Knotfest. There's Knotfest and then there's Knotfest road shows.
Yeah. I think that's where this kind of came up.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
They call it Knotfest road shows. And I'm like, but this is just a long concert.
Yeah, I think so. And I get your hesitation there. And I also understand the Knotfest roadshow. They add the roadshow on the end being like, we want to bring Knotfest and the feel of Knotfest on the road to people who can't necessarily make it to a proper Knotfest.
Yeah. So the first time we saw Knotfest,
it was in Denver.
Yes, in 2019.
Yeah. And that was a Knotfest roadshow.
Yes, a Knotfest roadshow. And it was 5 bands, if I remember right.
I think so.
When we saw it in 2022, it was just 3 bands. If I remember right.
Yep.
Well, we saw 3 bands, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the first time it was like, okay, so this is a concert that starts at like 4 o'clock, or doors were at 4, I think. Concerts started at 5 or something. I'm like, this isn't really a festival. This is like a long concert. And that's the first time I thought about that.
Yeah. They did have, for that first one in Denver, they did have the Slipknot Museum that they brought along with them, which is at all their Knotfest festivals themselves.
Yeah.
But the whole other thing with Knotfest is they have a bunch of vendors and a bunch of like, not a bunch, but sometimes they'll have like amusement rides and shit like that. That's the festival that they kind of tag along with them. That doesn't go along with the roadshow. So I agree.
Yeah.
I think the Knotfest roadshows are more of long concerts.
Yeah.
I get what they're trying to do, but it also just feels like marketing, right?
I think so.
Like,
yeah.
Knotfest, it becomes the marketable term.
Yeah.
And then roadshow is letting you know that it's not an actual festival, it's a long concert that you're going to see.
But even going from that, I mean, granted, Decibel Metal and Beer Fest is 2 days.
Yep.
But really, it's just kind of a long concert. It starts at 4 o'clock, or doors are at 4, goes until midnight or 1 o'clock or something. Yep. It's just a 7-band concert, 2 days in a row.
Yeah, you can buy a single day if you want, but you can do that with most festivals. You can buy single day or multiple day.
Yeah.
There's no overlap in terms of what bands you're going to see. Sometimes there are, like we're going to see with Milwaukee Metal Fest this year, there's going to be bands that are on multiple days doing different sets and whatnot.
Yeah.
So different feel.
I don't know. Like, I would still consider Denver or Decibel Metal and Beer Fest a festival.
I would too. Yeah.
Knotfest, no. Knotfest Roadshow.
Knotfest Roadshow. Knotfest Iowa or Limefest as we call it. I do consider that a festival because it did have all those other sort of things. They had multiple stages, but again, beer and metal did not. I always fuck that up. It's Decibel, metal and beer.
Yeah, metal first.
But still, it was multiple days. So the more I think about this, I do feel like festival itself, and like Power Trip, we didn't go to that, but that was a festival, right?
Yeah.
That was one stage, multiple bands,
Yeah.
multiple days, but it was 6 bands, 2 bands a day.
Yeah.
So to me, that doesn't feel like a festival. To me, that is a concert over multiple, like 3 days of unique concerts.
Yeah.
Right? That is more of that feel than Decibel was to me.
Yeah.
Decibel has more of a festival feel than that did.
Yeah.
So when I start to think about it, I start to look at what is a festival, and again, festival to me seems like a marketing term. Not everything is a festival. All festivals are concerts, but not all concerts are festivals type thing, right?
Yeah.
So when I start to think about it, I'm starting to think that you have to have a checklist that a festival is a festival if you can knock off 6 items on this checklist or whatever the value is. We don't know. One of those values would be multiple stages. If you have multiple stages, you can check that off and you might be a festival if you have 5 other attributes. So multiple stages is one I would classify. The number of bands to me is important. You have to have so many bands to be a festival. Power Trip had 6 bands. That does not feel like a festival lineup.
Not over
to me.
3 days, no.
No, not even over one day. Like
Yeah.
we've been to shows that have 5 bands at a single show. And again, these were bands that each had headlining sets though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Multiple days, multiple bands. What that band is, I don't know. I think it's got to be 10 plus. 10 plus over.
But then right now you're
days.
saying that already Decibel Metal and Beer Fest is not a festival out of your...
No, I'm saying you don't have to hit all the items. You have to hit
Okay.
like, if you have 10 items.
So there's 0 for 2. Okay.
No, they have multiple days.
But you said 10 bands a day
No,
over multiple days.
10 bands over the span of the days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Again, I'm trying
I'm
to
sorry.
figure
I
out, like,
misunderstood what you were saying. Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out what these categories would be to classify things. And these are things in my head. What are some that you can think of? Outdoors is a yes or no? Like if you
No.
can check that off.
I don't think
But if
it
you
has to be.
All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to think like when you think of even what's the one here in town? Riot Fest. That's definitely a festival. That definitely has a festival feel. The characteristics of that, multiple stages, outdoors, a bunch of other shit going on in terms of vendors and events and stuff you can do. It's I don't know. It's just really weird to me to think of.
Because like I understand what you're saying. It's weird to think of. Sorry, I might have interrupted your.
No, go ahead.
But even like when trying to explain what Headbanger Boat is, I'm like, oh, it's basically a festival on water.
Yep.
Which it kind of is. Multiple stages, multiple bands, multiple days.
Yep.
I mean, it's the same bands multiple days, but they get multiple sets.
But you have 16 bands overall.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Multiple days. And then like if you think of, we haven't been on Shipwrecked or 70,000 tons, but
Yeah,
that's
we're at
another
time.
one. Wow, that was fast. I feel like sometimes it goes by way faster.
Yeah.
But I would consider those festivals on water. Like, so if you, I mean, granted, one stage is outside, but otherwise the rest are inside.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think we came to a conclusion on what a festival is.
I don't think so either. To me, again, it's a checklist of, and I don't know what the items are, but it's a checklist of here's 12 attributes. And if you can hit half of these attributes, you would be considered a festival. It really does feel like festival is more of a marketing term because, again, you look at Power Trip and that was marketed as a festival.
We were so excited for that too, and we were ready to go. And then when I saw it was only 6 bands, I'm like,
yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Also, we don't know what the grounds were. If you got into the venue, if there were other events going on, so maybe they had that going on as well.
Maybe.
I don't know. But that definitely, based on the number of bands you got, did not feel like a festival. It felt like 3 concerts over 3 days.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't have a term for it. I don't, like you said, we don't have a definition for it. I don't know. It's really weird when
It's
people.
just a thought that we've had a lot.
Yeah, is when people say I'm going to a festival or this festival has been announced. I kind of stop and think now of like, well, is it actually a festival or is this just a concert type thing?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yep.
Anyway, festivals are live music. Go check out live music. I don't know.
Bye.